Sir Keir Starmer has resigned as leader of the Labour Party this morning. Now, you know that I normally cover the right-wing parties on this channel, and I do have Sarah Poachin and Richard Tice video ready to go, but that can wait, because this is one of those moments where I think you deserve to know what I actually think, and probably some of you might not like it. So I'm just going to be straight with you. Starmer was, by most polling metrics, one of the most unpopular prime ministers this country's ever had. The media spent 2 years making sure of that. I mean, it started with 10 days of front pages of a perfectly legal curry, and then ended up with wall-to-wall coverage of his sunglasses. Less coverage, it seems, of a 5 million bung that was given to Nigel Farage and his party. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Walking up this street 2 years ago was the proudest moment of my life. A new Labour government, the first in 14 years. A page in our country's history turned after years of disappointment and despair. The chance to change the lives of millions of people for the better. That's what I came into politics for.
That speech outside Downing Street this morning was dignified. You might not like Starmer, but he didn't throw anyone under the bus. He didn't make it about personal grievance, and he listed a set of genuine achievements.
Restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security, and becoming a party that once again stood proudly with, not against, our national flag. The hard work of change was with a singular purpose, not power for power's sake, but to change Britain for the better. And look at what we've achieved in just 2 years. An economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers, wages rising faster than inflation in every single month since we came to power, investment secured, infrastructure being built, an end to austerity, with the fastest fall in NHS waiting lists for 17 years, the biggest improvement in rights for workers and renters in a generation, the biggest uplift in defence spending since the Cold War, small boat crossings falling, asylum hotels closing, protecting young people from social media, and 500,000 children being lifted out of poverty because of the choices that I made.
NHS waiting lists falling faster than 17 years, 500,000 children lifted out of poverty, wages beating inflation every single month since Labour took power. Real things, real measurable things. Did he make mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. The winter fuel allowance cut was probably the single worst political decision of his premiership, both practically and symbolically. It handed his opponents a weapon, and they've used it constantly ever since he'd done it, even to this day, even though they reversed it. But that's on him, and I won't pretend otherwise. But the thing is, every government loses council seats in local elections. Every single one. It's the public giving the government a bloody nose, letting off steam mid-term, telling whoever's in charge that they're not happy without actually wanting to hand over the keys. That's the way it's been for decades. Blair lost council seats, Thatcher lost council seats. It's not evidence of a terminal collapse. It's just do better. And yet the parliamentary looked at those results from a few weeks ago, which, all right, it wasn't great, but it's just a normal mid-term dip. They've panicked, and now they've pushed the man out. And so the name being actively promoted now is Andy Burnham. Now, Andy Burnham, who had every opportunity to be in Westminster fighting for the things that Labour voters care about, Andy Burnham, who decided that Manchester suited him better. And I get it, he's done a good job there. But there is a difference between being a good mayor and deciding, a decade after you left the pitch, to run on at half-time and demand to be the captain.
A new Labour government, the first in 14 years. A page in our country's history turned after years of disappointment and despair. The chance to change the lives of millions of people for the better. That's what I came into politics for. The journey to that point was not easy. 6 years ago, I inherited a Labour Party that was politically, financially, and morally bankrupt. I was told time and time again that my party was finished, that we were consigned to history, that a majority at the general election, let alone a landslide majority, was impossible.
Labour has 402 other MPs, people who were there throughout the difficult years, who fought elections, who are doing the work right now in Parliament. And the answer is none of them. The answer is, oh, let's go and get the mayor back in. Here's what bothers me more about the Burnham scenario. He won't just inherit the job, he'll also inherit the legislation, the Employment Rights Bill, the planning reforms, the infrastructure investment. Everything that Starmer ground through a hostile media and difficult parliamentary environment to get done. Burnham will walk in, cut the ribbon, and then take the credit. And he'll probably be quite good at it, which is probably the most frustrating part. But none of that is the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that if Labour hands Andy Burnham a coronation, there's no contest, there's no mandate from the public, just a leadership election among party members, and then he's the Prime Minister who the country never voted for, leading from a programme that wasn't his, and it's not his manifesto, is inheriting a majority that was won on somebody else's name. And I think if he's serious about governing this country, then he should have the courage to go to the public and ask for their support. Call a general election, get his own mandate. Yes, it's a risk. You've got Reform still leading in the polls nationally. And yes, he might lose or cut his majority. But if he believes in what he's doing, then make the case and let the country decide. Because if he doesn't, if he just slips into Downer Street via a party vote and hopes the polls recover in time, then Reform and the right-wing media will just spend the next 2 or 3 years pointing out that he doesn't have a mandate from the public. Farage has spent years arguing that the political establishment stitches things up for itself. Bringing somebody back in from the fold after 10 years of being on the sidelines through a coronation process is going to make that argument for them, and wrapped up with a little bow on top of it. I said at the start, for some of you probably won't like this, and if you think Starmer was the problem and Burnham is the solution, that's absolutely fine, we can disagree. But I would ask you to think about the optics of what's just happened. Labour have spent 2 years telling you that Reform are the chaos candidates, the dangerous gamble, the untested protest vote. Today, Labour look like Conservative Party in 2022. They knifed their leader over a midterm polling wobble, and they're about to hand power to somebody who ran away from the party when things got tough. And they're doing it while all of their own legislation is still going through Parliament. Farage is sitting at home right now, probably having the best day he's had in months. That's not what a party that's serious about a second term really looks like.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision.
So I'll leave you with a question. Am I wrong about this? Because I'm genuinely open to be convinced. If you think that the parliamentary party made the right call today, if you think Burnham is the answer and this isn't a gift to Reform that I think it is, well then tell me why. Drop it in the comments and change my mind.